What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to yet another episode of our weekly Sorare and All Sports podcast. We are batting practice. You may notice if you're watching the video version of the podcast, I have a light up Christmas tree right here. Pretty cool, huh? Pretty cool.
My mic.
It's pretty good.
Getting in the festive spirit because it is the holiday season.
I like that you decorate the wall behind you. Meanwhile, I
You're
always have
blurry.
mine blurred out. Yeah,
I tried to.
I respect my privacy. Come on.
I'm going to get doxxed because of the slight piece of window you can see here.
Mm-hmm.
Someone's going to figure out where I live.
I actually doxed myself. Completely unrelated to this podcast. I made a fun TikTok of my cat, and inevitably I showed a piece of mail that was on my countertop that had my. I mean, I'm not shy about my name, especially on this podcast, but yeah, a dox where I live. So, I mean, to be honest, like I give out my address like it's candy. Same thing with my social security number. The only thing I protect anymore is my Sorare ETH wallet. That's about
Yeah,
it.
so right.
So it doesn't like someone like I didn't realize I'd done it until someone was like commented and was like, "You gave out your address," and I was like, "Oh, I guess
Dang,
I did."
someone actually commented. Oh my gosh.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah, they
wow.
were salty. They were like, "You just doxed yourself, bro."
how many views did it get?
4,000.
Oh no, you're screwed.
Wow.
Yeah. You know,
Well-
I don't really care if someone from TikTok actually shows up on my door.
That's
I
true.
don't
That
even
means
know.
you'll have like a level of fame.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
you'll
honestly.
have a fan, a dedicated fan.
That's
That-
true.
Yeah, we're not at this point with the podcast where you have stalkers or anything like that.
We don't know
No.
that. That would be the point.
That is
That's
also
true.
true.
But we haven't doxed ourselves on the podcast. We've said where we live, but not anything more. But yeah,
Yeah.
you can if you're listening, you can figure out my TikTok. Probably never will, but those people have my address. It's out there.
The real question is,
cat's
did you
TikTok.
keep it?
Hmm?
Did you keep the video up?
It's still on
Of course.
TikTok.
Yeah, I don't care.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I literally do
You
not
can't just
care
get rid
at
of
all.
4,000 views, 4,000
That is true.
precious views down the drain for a piece of a letter, for a piece of mail.
Yeah.
The
Nah.
next time I need to send you something, I'm not going to text you for your address. I'm just going to look on TikTok.
There you go. Yeah, it's
Because
probably out there.
I don't know your address off
That's
the top
true.
of my head.
What if
I
it was the
remember-
sender's address?
You know, we've talked about it before. I know we don't need to go too much into story time because I know we have a lot to talk about. But when we were kids, we had a YouTube channel, and I think Jacob's actually touched on that on Hunter's podcast. Shout out to that. But one of the things that, because we were successful, we actually did make some money from it. And I remember going to my parents and being like, "Hey, like in order to do this, I just need to put some information online." And it was like I was asking to, I don't know, it was like the most difficult conversation I've ever had.
Yeah,
They were
right.
like, you're gonna give your number, you're gonna give your name, you're gonna give
Mhm.
everything, like so
Mhm.
much scrutiny. And now I like literally just give out my address and my
Like
name.
it's
Just like
nothing.
it's nothing, like just for clicks,
true.
you know, like
It is true.
We
Just
have it
for clicks.
saved in there. I have my credit
Yeah.
card info. All I have to do is type in the CV. In fact, all I need to do is with my new computer, just do fingerprint.
there you go.
And
Yeah.
it knows my password and my credit card information.
Yeah, it's pretty great. Until someone hacks that.
Right. That's funny.
Until you install a chip in your hand that allows you
Ooh.
to adapt to other people's fingerprints.
That's true, kind of like a palm.
That's
And
for next
that's-
podcast.
Yeah, there we go. Big brain ideas.
Mhm.
One of these times we should do a conspiracy theory podcast.
So rare conspiracy theories?
Ooh.
Yeah, we could include one of those for sure.
Mhm.
John is an alien.
That's a
Hmm.
bold statement.
Okay.
I don't know that those mustaches don't just appear here on Earth.
Sorare doesn't actually have a U.S. office. They're actually
Oh.
just in a different room within France.
And then they
within their
say
France
it's New
office.
York.
Yeah, and they say it's New York. Yep. I don't
like
believe
that.
it. I don't believe it.
So everyone that's visited has actually it's like the moon landing.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
They had a
yes,
green
yes.
screen.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's fake. It's fake.
They
There's a good
signed an
one.
NDA.
Yeah.
We've uncovered it. We've discovered the truth. This is why the club shop isn't out yet.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because it doesn't exist. Anyway,
Somebody's
that's
gonna
enough
clip
conspiracy
this.
theories. I know. This is so out of context right now. We're a
Intros,
sports
man.
podcast, though.
Oh, yeah.
Intro. We all know how intros go. They go and they don't stop. But we have a lot to talk about, like Andrew said. We're going to start it off with the NBA in-season tournament. It wrapped up on Saturday. It was a great game. Unfortunately, in my opinion, the Lakers came out on top. I don't know about you guys. I was rooting for the Pacers. I think they actually played the best tournament, but couldn't pull it out in that last game on Saturday.
Yeah, so I was at an event, so I couldn't watch, unfortunately. But I did catch up on some highlights and looked like the Lakers pretty much dominated, especially in the fourth quarter. Wasn't like a crazy finish or anything. I was right from last week's podcast. I would just like to say, I was like, I think the Lakers are going to win this one. So I didn't say that from the beginning, so I can't take any credit for that. But I think overall, you're right. Like, it'd be cool to see the smaller market team win. When's the last time the Pacers have done anything? I don't
True.
know. The Lakers just won a few years ago. So
True.
you could argue that, but also you could argue the fact that, oh, look, speaking of our next topic, the big market team won. So it's good for the overall sport and things like that. So yeah, I missed it, but I watched some highlights. How about, did you see after the game? Did you see the LeBron with the championship hat and he tossed it to AD? You saw that?
No.
Yeah, it was just like the world's most perfect hat toss. It didn't land on his head, but it landed like breadbasket. It was better than Josh Dobbs could throw yesterday.
Oh,
There
that's
we
good.
go. Or
I like
Aiden
that.
O'Connell. I don't know.
Or O'Connell.
Good one.
That's true.
Or
Okay.
and name backup quarterback.
Name any quarterback in the NFL from yesterday, basically,
Except the
Travis
Except
Kelsey had a
for-
better throw.
Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
It's funny you bring that up though, because this is completely off topic, not about the NBA season tournament whatsoever. But I was sitting in bed last night watching the end of the Minnesota Wild game, and they scored an empty net goal with like 3 seconds left to make the score 3-0. So if you woke up Sunday morning and said, you know what, I'm going to bet on the Minnesota Vikings and the Minnesota Wild to both win 3-0, you'd have made millions of dollars yesterday, but nobody did that. So that's okay. But I thought that was pretty funny,
That's a very good stat line.
right?
Yeah.
Think
The
about
other-
this too. Think about this, because there might be a preview for, well, I guess this will be released after, but tomorrow we have a short coming out about how bad that game was yesterday. So yes, the score was 3-0, but football works in mysterious ways where that 3 was actually one score. So the Wild
Right.
scored more.
True.
They just didn't score more points.
True.
It's true. Yeah, I guess
So
it's like baseball.
think about it that way.
Yeah. For
People
all
say
our,
baseball's boring.
Yep,
People,
and soccer
this
too.
is the whole, yeah. People say soccer's boring. There was one score in the fourth quarter. Sure, that's kind of cool that it was late, but football is not meant to be that way.
Right. It was like a half score too, because nobody scored a touchdown. It was a field
Yeah.
goal. So it's like, doesn't even really count.
It'd be like if an NBA game ended like 79-71.
Right.
You'd be like, we just witnessed some absolute trash.
True. Very true. Anyway,
Nowadays. Anyways, yes.
the
NBA.
in-season tournament.
I was talking about the NBA. See,
You were.
we came
Took
back.
it all back. The other thing, the players are playing for money, which is kind of interesting considering they're some of the highest paid athletes in the world. Not as high as someone we're going to talk about in a second. Anthony Davis, I think, makes over 40 million. LeBron, I think, is the highest paid player in the league. So they're playing for money, but the Pacers, man, they're one of the youngest, least paid teams within the NBA. And before you get out your violins for them, remember the least paid NBA player is still making a lot of money. So don't feel too bad for them. But if you can think about it from a motivation standpoint, I know we were just talking about the championship game But before our last podcast, there was a semifinal round where the Bucks were defeated by the Pacers, and that was the first time I think I saw just a Bucks team that just was not motivated at all. And it looked like the Pacers were extremely motivated. And in fact, I thought like that was going to get them through the championship game. Unfortunately, I think the Lakers also needed money. There were some funny interviews I saw this week where both AD and D'Angelo Russell were asked what they would do with the money, and both said, "Man, I got to buy gifts for my family for Christmas."
Mm-hmm.
So even if you're an NBA player, you probably need some extra money around the holidays. So this is the NBA's version of a holiday bonus, and I guess NBA players are living paycheck to paycheck just like everyone else is.
Well,
but it's so interesting to hear them
about
talk
the
about money.
rookies. Think about the rookies and like the second year players that are still
Yeah.
on the rookie contracts.
Yep.
Like this,
especially on the Pacers.
Oh no, exactly. That the Pacers had the most financially to win. Like the prize money as a percentage of what they were going to make this year, I think was the highest of any team in the league, maybe outside of the Pistons or another very young team that we've talked about before. But yeah, I mean, you know, $500,000, you know, it probably isn't a lot for LeBron, but I mean, yeah, around the holidays, I'm sure everyone could use a little bit more cash. To be honest, I think the Bucks were hurt the most by the neutral. Well, and you can maybe not call it neutral because I mean the arena on Saturday looked pretty purple and yellow. I mean, because Las Vegas, I think, is only a 2-hour drive from LA, so it's practically a home field advantage. So yeah, so it's a little bit unfair, I think, but I think if that game was in Milwaukee, I think the Bucks, you know, maybe pull out a win. But you know, in hindsight, it's probably very good that basketball is not played at neutral sites because I don't know. I think there are certain teams that rely on the home factor, and you know, we talked about it. The Bucks and the Celtics were favorite going into it, and I think you know Celtics might have also come up short too because they rock the Garden in Boston, and if they didn't have that support, maybe they wouldn't have been able to do it.
True.
Yeah, so I was just looking up the Lakers' salaries, and Max Christie, rookie, makes 1.7
He's
mil.
a second year.
He's the second. Yeah, he's second. He makes 1. He's still in the rookie contract.
True.
He makes 1.7 mil.
Only?
So this, yeah.
Is he the lowest?
So this is a 33% increase. Well, imagine just you woke up tomorrow and you're like, if you do really good today at something, here's a 33% increase.
Yeah. I mean, that's and not to mention a trophy. Because I it's funny. I think if you look back on it,
yeah,
you know, who was the first team to win the Super Bowl?
Packers.
Exactly. Like everyone kind of remembers the first. So
That's
you know,
true.
maybe like we're talking about it now is like you know, it's probably only about the money, the prestige just isn't there. But if this does become something, everyone knows in every history book or every record book who the first of something was. So now the Lakers can probably say they were the first team to ever win the in-season tournament, which kind of sucks. I just like Josh, I wish it was going to be the Pacers. I think that would have been a lot more fun. LeBron, I guess, needs another trophy in his closet, but I'm not going to knock on LeBron. He deserves it. Even though AD really carried that game.
Yeah. So two things. First of all, I just did a quick look at the Pacers' salaries. Holy cow. And 3 of their players on their tournament roster make around 500,000. So they would have actually doubled their salaries for the year. So it meant a lot more to the Pacers. It felt like you could see in how the bench was reacting financially. Yes, of course. You could tell, especially after they beat the Celtics, like their bench was pretty stoked.
They were
like
fired
they were
up
on the court. So that was exciting. That's kind of why I was hoping they would win, but
does second place get anything? Is it just like what? Because I know we were just talking about fantasy football, and obviously, like if you don't win most leagues, there's a consolation prize.
So you got 100,000 just for advancing. So
to the Final
Bucks,
Four.
yeah.
Okay.
So
Or
I'm
100 grand was
looking
just for
for-
making it out of your group,
Yep.
or okay.
Okay.
So they already got a 100K bonus.
That's
Is there
pretty good.
another bonus if you make it to the final four then to go to Vegas?
200. So they got 300K.
Okay. Okay.
That's pretty darn good still. I mean,
So
that's a
if
consolation.
if you won, I guess your total would have been 600 then.
Wow.
Sure.
Oh wait, so the dub is only 200K more. So theoretically the Pacers only lost out on 200K.
300.
So you could have made 600. But
yes, because they all made 100,000 to start
Right,
for
right,
making
yes.
for exiting the group, for not exiting the group, however you want to phrase that. And then 500 versus 2. So they could have won $300,000 more. They could have doubled their prize money, but hey, especially for those rookies, yeah, that's a lot of money.
Oh man, I mean that explains why Josh they got so animated when they beat the Celtics. I mean that
well,
was
and think
that's a
about
big
the
chunk of
Lakers
change.
too. You got AD, you got LeBron. They want to win a championship.
It's true.
They are focused on that from day one. This is like a nice little bonus for them.
For sure.
And like I said earlier, the Pacers haven't done much in a while. So having a financial bonus added to a little cup, little in-season tournament cup, absolutely for the Pacers. But the Lakers are focused on NBA championship day one.
Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what, the Lakers must be somewhat excited because they are hanging a special banner in their arena for winning.
Wow.
So
Hey,
Did you know that the Pacers have never won the NBA championship? So this would have been the first trophy ever for Indiana. That's crazy. I mean, and we all know the Lakers had no shortage of trophies down there in LA. Although they could probably loan a couple to the Clippers, they would probably be happy about that.
yeah, I mean, they sucked for a while. You think like Reggie Miller era way back when,
That's
but
true.
when we were growing up, they sucked. And the
Yeah.
Bucks sucked too. And it was
They
like,
did.
thank God we're playing the Pacers this week.
That is true.
Ron Artest,
Things are definitely looking up though
Meta
for the
World
Pacers.
Peace.
So shout out to our boy. What's his face? That's a good point made right there.
Okay.
Tyrese Halliburton, who's from Wisconsin.
Oh,
Run the
yes.
He's not a Bucks fan though. He does not like the Bucks.
He went to Oshkosh High
Mhm.
School.
Did
Oshkosh. North,
Doesn't
I
like the
think.
Bucks. That's all right.
Whatever. He plays for the
Yeah.
Pacers, so kind of
I
works
think
out
if you
that
put
way.
on now that is somebody from Wisconsin that I would not mind on the Bucks. Okay.
True.
Obviously, I think we'd all be in agreement. Halliburton over Poole on the Bucks.
As of right now, yes.
Okay. Okay.
But that's recency bias.
What a question. No, that's just, I would have rather had 1 year of Hallie versus the entirety of Jordan Poole's career.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
And you can even take out the punch when Draymond Green punched him.
I kind of want to keep that in.
You want to keep that in?
I might do it just to keep that. Yeah.
It's a good idea.
But I mean, I feel like for all of it though, I mean, what we're going to talk about next, I mean, basketball does have some, I feel like it has better parity than the sport we're going to be talking about next. If you think about the way good players are distributed, obviously you still have powerhouse teams. Ironically, one of those is in Milwaukee. But I don't think the Brewers could ever be in the position that the Bucks are in within sports. I don't think that's possible, just given the way baseball works. So I don't know, guys. Do you have anything else, or do you want to talk about the $700 million elephant in the room?
I mean, that's, you say that, but it's salary cap. That's the reason.
Right.
There's really no other discussion besides that. NBA has a salary cap, baseball doesn't. So you're going to get more parity besides San Antonio and Detroit. You're going to get more parity.
And Charlotte.
We'll talk about parity in a second, but I think the beauty of a salary cap is the Bucks can be a powerhouse team. It's a small market still, but we've been good for how long now? The last 4 or 5 years.
Right.
And
I mean,
now we've become more of a powerhouse. So the Brewers have never been a powerhouse and probably will never be a powerhouse because of baseball.
And don't get us wrong, like Giannis is one of the highest paid NBA players in the league. And there's no way the Brewers could ever have, or the Pirates, or I know we have a lot of Brewer bias, so I'm going to try to, you insert small market baseball team.
Mhm.
There is no way one of them will probably have a top 5 contract for a player. Because unfortunately, that's just not how small markets are able to operate. So yeah, well, we can get into it, but I don't know.
Unless
NBA,
you get an owner that is such a baseball guy, he reaches into his own pockets.
It's true. But even for people like the man we are going to talk about soon,
I don't think you have to keep it a secret here.
Well, we'll dive in. The main man.
We're 3 days late already.
The main man, Shohei Ohtani, has signed with your Toronto Blue. Sorry.
Go Blue.
Wrong blue team. Shock. It is, of course, the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Of course it was.
Of course it was. It was always going to be.
Yes.
Yes.
It was the Dodgers for the last month, and they did a really good keeping it under wraps. But come on. He lives in LA. He already lives in LA. There were all those videos of him and his dog posted beforehand. Why did everyone think he was going anywhere? He can stay exactly where he is and play for a much better team.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what he's doing. But let's get into it.
Yeah. Well, where should we start? Where do you want to start?
You want to start from there we
go.
How
about the teams, the people that were rejected, the teams in contention? Should we I would love to play a sad little violin as we read their names for you aloud. We can go around. Chicago Cubs. All right.
That's it.
Atlanta
Blue Jays
Braves.
fans are over it. Okay, we're still going.
Toronto Blue Jays.
My
New York
favorite,
Yankees.
San Francisco Giants.
Oh, I was gonna say pour one out for the Giants, man.
At least they have Aaron Judge, right?
Arson Judge, bro. Arson Judge.
They got this guy named Michael Conforto that I was so upset about winning. He's the GOAT.
He's
Conforto.
More like Michael Juan Soto, am I right?
Yes.
Wait, that happened after our last episode, right? So we didn't even talk about that, or did we?
What? No, we did not talk about Juan Soto.
To the Yankees.
Yeah.
Yes. But who cares, man?
Dude, it's crazy how it's just this is what they said on Talking Baseball on their most previous podcast was Juan Soto went to the Yankees for this crazy trade. Again, another TikTok. 11 people now Juan Soto has been traded for. Plus one other player, Trent Grisham, and who went to the Padres?
Just Grisham.
Yeah.
Oh, who went to the Padres?
With Soto from the Nationals? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. That trade got so overshadowed instantly by Shohei signing with the Dodgers. And we haven't seen anything even close to like it before. Nothing like it even close in baseball. 10 years, $700 million. We can't even assume what that number means because none of us have ever seen 700 million of anything in our lives before.
I know we've joked about trades being I think you said Soto's worth 7 people now or something like that.
11.
Ohtani is effectively worth two
way
people.
More than that.
2 people. I mean,
Ohtani's worth 2 Sotos.
I'm looking at it right now. Ohtani's going to earn $70 million a year. Aaron Judge set records last year for a $40 million contract. The one of the next highest paid players is his former teammate Mike Trout at $35 million. So effectively, Ohtani is making Mike Trout and Aaron Judge combined. So when you do the math, he should be worth, or he should contribute at least that to your organization to justify him paying it. there are a lot of ways we're going to get into them, I think, of how a team could recoup that. But just looking at the numbers, he is worth, and these are, when I say two people, these are the salaries of the second highest paid players in the league. And guys, is he getting paid more than the entire Brewers payroll at this point?
I think so.
Mhm,
I think it was
probably.
10 teams in the MLB.
Mm-hmm.
He makes more money
But
than 10
that's for
entire
the
teams.
whole. Yeah, yeah.
That's
That's
awesome.
just 70 mil. That's not for the whole contract.
Oh, sure.
That's
It's
just
70,
yeah.
70 mil for 1 year. $700 million is the total contract value over 10 years.
And that's not like with taxes and AAV and all that stuff. That's not what it's going to be
no.
total. But
Yeah,
that's
so
it's like what it is on paper.
we can break it down for the
Oh,
listeners
let's break
if
it.
we
Let's
want.
break it down.
So the contract is 700 million for 10 years, but that is nowhere near what Ohtani will be making in the 10-year contract. It is reported that he will be making 2 million a year for the 10 years, and then the Dodgers will then owe him 680 million over the next 10 years. So while he's playing, he's only making 20 million, and then from 10 years beyond that, I think it was like 20, well, it's 10 years now, so that's
2043.
So 2043 is when they'll owe him the rest of over that span of 10 years after he stops or after the contract's up. So the Dodgers very conveniently structured the contract this way, and Ohtani was okay with it because the Dodgers avoid all luxury taxes that could have occurred, and they can basically go out and get whoever else they want with no repercussions. And that is what some people consider to be wrong with baseball in a nutshell. But yeah, 20 million over 10 years and then 680 over the next 10. We have a modern day Bobby Bonilla. If you understand the reference, you are a fan of the game. Shout out the Mets.
So let me riddle you, because this is the question that everybody's asking, and I think this is a question that we can discuss across all podcasts because it's good to get multiple opinions on this. But we can also specify it to Sorare in a sec. But do you think overall for baseball that this is good?
No.
Yes.
No is a hot take, because I think the very clear answer is yes.
I think it's not the same impact as Messi coming to the MLS. That was a huge,
He beat Messi.
Yes,
contract
he did.
wise.
He's making more money than Messi.
That's crazy
But obviously, like MLS before Messi came, obviously wasn't regarded as one of the greater leagues in football, soccer, as we like to call it around here, as I like to call it around here. I'm not going to throw you guys into that. But when he came to the MLS, he literally lifted the league. He became an owner in the league, and ultimately, I think that's the seminal moment for the MLS. I think Ohtani going to the Dodgers is on that same level for baseball. Now, baseball, again, like it's been around for 100 years. It's a very established sport. It's one of the biggest sports in the world. MLB is not really hurting, although, I mean, it definitely faces a lot more competition than it used to. But I think from a viewership of baseball, I think this is good for the sport. But yeah, Jacob, I know you were kind of nodding in agreement. Do you share a lot of those same ideas, or?
Yeah. Why I think, like, you can let your personal feelings get in the way. You can let your emotions get in the way and be like, oh, he went to the Dodgers. That's the second team I didn't want him to go to besides the Cubs, which is exactly what I would say. Is that personally, I would probably say Cubs number 1, Dodgers number 2, Yankees number 3 for teams that I didn't want him to go to. Yankees might have moved up for a half of a day while Soto got there, because if it would have been Ohtani and Soto, that would have been crazy. But back to the question, I think it's again, it's a yes because he's staying in a huge market, a market with so many fans that will buy tickets. They will buy jerseys. They will line up for autographs. They will line up for giveaways and stuff. And the Dodgers can just milk the Ohtani cow. And like they can use it to generate so much money that it's a dub for them. They can use it to generate so much attention, so it's a dub for baseball. And think about LA too. Think like Otani's a Japanese player, and Los Angeles is a huge city that has a whole bunch of diversity. So is Toronto. Toronto would have been great as well, but that brings another thing to like the fanship of baseball. In that, if he would have gone to Milwaukee, there's only 500,000 people that live in Milwaukee. And sure, you can say something about its diversity or not. I don't think there's that big of a Japanese culture. I'm also not updated on my Milwaukee-ness culture-wise, but it's just good for all of fans, I think, because he's staying in such a big market. I wish it was on the East Coast because then I could watch him more. But for baseball, it's just good. There's just like, and as much as I hate to say it, it would have been good probably no matter what. But I think LA is probably the best spot for him. Chicago, I don't know. Like the Dodgers will get people to come to games. Cubs fans, if the Cubs are doing bad, if they had Ohtani, but the Cubs are doing bad, people are not going to show up.
No. Yeah. I completely
and think about New York. He's going to get railed in New York if he doesn't perform up to batting 350, hitting 60 home runs a year, paying him $70 million a year. So I think LA is like the perfect spot for him.
Yeah.
And for baseball.
And I think the biggest thing is it's not just, if baseball is a true global sport, it needs to have viewers outside of the United States. And other sports, I think, have done the strategy well. Baseball is really popular over in Japan and South Korea and other countries around the world. But Japan is a huge market. I think the second biggest outside of the United States for baseball. All of Otani's games are broadcast live in Japan in Japanese for a huge audience. And that was actually one of the interesting things I was reading. If he were to go to Toronto, the way Canadian broadcasting like legals work, they would not have been able to do that. So huge blow to a lot of people that would want to watch Ohtani. So everyone in Japan will get to watch him, which is huge. So if you think about, it's not just the LA market, it's probably the entire country of Japan that's also watching. So, and I think like from Ohtani's standpoint, like I think that's what's good for baseball. Now I think it'll be, we've definitely gloated and celebrated it, but I think it's also important to talk about why it could be really bad for baseball over the long term. But I don't know, Josh, I know Jacob and I were a little bit more positive than you. What do you see as the kind of some of the downsides with this?
Yeah. So first off, Ohtani is what is good for baseball. Not his contract, not him going to the Dodgers. Ohtani himself is what's good for baseball.
Him going to the Dodgers is
He's already in California. What difference does it make? He's staying in the same place.
Because the Angels have, come on. Let's be real here. The Angels following
he's already Ohtani.
Minuscule.
He's already Ohtani. Do you really think that Ohtani going to the Dodgers is going to grow the game?
Yes.
Okay,
why?
It's like
because he's going to a big market team.
He's going to winning. Think about like it's like when Messi was on PSG.
I don't know if I'm pointing at the right box.
He's Messi, but like again, he did not. The PSG underperformed. They were not good, even though they had one of the superstars of the game. And when a superstar is not, no one would argue that Messi's bad, but to me the biggest difference between the Angels and the Dodgers is that the Dodgers have made the playoffs every single year since 2012, and Ohtani has never played in a playoff game because he's been on the Angels. So when you have a good player, but then you also combine them with winners, that's a story that everyone likes to watch. So I think it is important that you're on a winning team, because for whatever reason, I think it's human nature. We like to follow winners. That's just that's a nature of the game.
I don't know. To me, he already has an immense following, especially from Japanese viewers. So those Japanese viewers are not they're not swayed by what team he's on. They're a fan of him. So they're going to watch him regardless of what team he's on. The people who are fans of the Dodgers are already fans of the Dodgers, so they're not growing there. The fans of other teams are going to be more upset than happy that he's on the Dodgers because they don't like the Dodgers. And the neutral fan would watch the game just to watch him regardless. They're still a fan of baseball. So I just don't really see, I understand what you're saying, but I don't see this massive growth happening from him going to the Dodgers. I think the growth is happening from him being him, regardless of what team he's playing on.
But the Dodgers is going to help that.
Yeah, I guess like
I don't see it. I don't know.
think about so this would be the analogy. So let's say Ohtani, like everyone knows Ohtani's good. He's been playing at this theater for the last 5 years that sells for capacity of 2,000 people. He's now moving up to the big show where he's going to be at this theater. Effectively, that Dodgers Stadium capacity is now 55,000 people. That's going to be completely sold out, probably for this first season. Probably, I'm sure they sell it every season because they're the Dodgers. Now they have Ohtani, so they certainly will. When you go from like, it's also about how big the stage you're on is. And Ohtani wasn't on the biggest stage playing in Anaheim. He will be on the biggest stage. So I totally think I think there is going to be a growth. Now the big thing for me, like as a Brewers fan, I'm like, how are we ever going to win? Like I literally had the thought of like, between all of these super teams, there's just no way that these, ragtag Milwaukee Brewers are ever going to be able to compete. And I
So
think
how is that good for baseball?
right.
That's what I don't understand.
No, so I think there are two forces at play. There's obviously the boom for Ohtani, and that's one thing. But if we look at it like a seesaw or something else, like there's obviously this negative of like, will the existing fans of teams turn off their TVs and say, screw it, like Brewers aren't going to win? I saw a video of a Diamondbacks fan just railing because they're so upset. They're like, the Diamondbacks aren't going to win the World Series ever. And I'm sorry, they probably won't. Nor will the Brewers. So
I'm gonna be a huge hypocrite here, but I'm playing devil's advocate and being a hypocrite.
do it.
One of the reasons why I started rooting for Bayern Munich, one of the main reasons was because I rooted for the German national team in 2014. A lot of players from that team were on Bayern. That got me introduced to it. Then I figured out that Bayern was the best team in the Bundesliga, bought the most players, spent the most money, and that attracted me to them even more so. If I would have started watching the Bundesliga and been a fan of Leverkusen, let's say, I would be looking at the league thinking, how am I ever going to beat Bayern? So if I'm a neutral fan or not even a fan of baseball and I'm entering the game not being a fan of the top 10 payrolls, eventually I'm going to figure out why would I ever root for this team or be a fan of this team if they don't stand a chance against these other teams. Now, there is a lot more parity. There's a lot more parity in baseball than people realize. Look at the last 5 to 10 World Series winners. It's not always those top teams, but the lower payroll teams never have a chance at getting these players, and those players attract more fans to that team. Yes. So if you're a fan of one of the bottom half payrolls, you understand that you're not getting one of these superstars, not in their prime at least. So I think that's where the danger of these sorts of contracts happen.
And I think you're right, but you have to think, if you are a fan of Leverkusen, at least in soccer, there are way more competitions than just in MLB. It's it's a World Series. That's it. In the Bundesliga, you could finish in the top of the table to earn a spot for the Europa League or the Champions League. You have your domestic cup games. You have there are so many more competitions than simply the league title. And you're absolutely like right. Like, if I was a Leverkusen fan, I would probably, it'd be a dream to ever win the Bundesliga, at least at how it works now. But like there are, Europa League games where, yeah, I might, Leverkusen might do well, in relation to that. So I think it's hard because in baseball there's just one competition, and I think I read an article this week by Ken Rosenthal, who was talking about how, like, look at how the Yankees, the Padres, the Giants, even the Braves, just they didn't win because even though they spent all this much money, but they completely ignored the fact that the winning team of the World Series, the Rangers, spent a ton of money. So
They were in
I
the
was trying
top
to
10.
so I think like what's it is spending money, obviously, I think we can all agree doesn't equal getting a championship. But I would be
It
hard
helps.
pressed to find a team that won a championship that did not spend a lot of money, if that makes sense.
So here, I'll back it up for you. Since 2013, so we're going 10 years back. The World Series, two World Series winners that stand out to me as smaller market teams are the Kansas City Royals and the Washington Nationals. That's 2 out of 10 of the last 10 years. Look at those teams now. They spent their money, they got the World Series. Both of them were two of the worst teams in the MLB this year. So not only is it getting there and actually winning the World Series, but maintaining that winning aspect, it's incredibly hard for these small market teams. And contracts like Ohtani just prove that you need the money to be competitive consistently. It might not be equate to winning a World Series, but when's the last time the Dodgers were not that good?
So you think the Diamondbacks will not do that well this year?
I'm not necessarily saying that. They also,
So
They're coming up against Ohtani.
I don't think they will do as well this year. No, I don't.
Padres are arguably a lot worse.
Yeah.
I guess it's like how do you think about like a whether a season was good or not? Like for me, at least for the Brewers, it's like did they win the World Series? And I guess for the Diamondbacks, I don't think they're going to win the World Series.
Right.
They
It's
might make
been
the
this
playoffs.
long
Sure.
as Brewers fans to have like a good team and not win the World Series, where I think we could say that. Now, if they go playoff list for the next 10 years, 10 years from now, you might be like, let's just make the playoffs.
Right.
And the Dodgers, sure, they won in 2020. It was a COVID season. You can say whatever you want to about that. But when did they win before that?
Dodgers last one in 1988.
There you go. So
Right.
it's bad for baseball because it's setting a precedent for contracts. Well, it'll be very interesting to see what Soto gets next year because he doesn't pitch. But it's also bad for baseball for the Dodgers to be bad. So I did some quick research. The Dodgers had the highest TV ratings, and they had 15,000 people more per game than the Angels did. 15,000 people more in attendance per game.
Yep.
So sure, that market's already there. Sure, he's in the market. Sure, his fans already exist. But that's 15,000 people at least that are going to be putting more eyes on him. That's 50,000 people more at least that could buy jerseys of him.
But they're already there. That's
But
not
they're
growing
not.
the game.
But they're not there.
The
You're
Dodgers
assuming they're there, but
averaged
they're not.
The Dodgers averaged 47,000 people in attendance each game last
Yes.
year with no
And now it'll
Ohtani.
be even more because it'll be nationwide.
That's already like basically a sellout, though.
Let me tell you this. I live in North Carolina. There are no professional baseball teams here. I see Dodgers stuff all the time.
But that's not because of Ohtani.
But I'm not done making my point. They have Dodgers stuff here, but I guarantee you they're not watching every game. I guarantee it. It's 3 hours away. I don't watch the Brewers games when they're in LA. But now that Ohtani is on LA, I guarantee you I will be staying up later to watch games. And I guarantee you that people who don't watch baseball will be tuning in because it was the same thing that LeBron did on ESPN so many years ago, made this huge announcement. Think of how many people watched the Heat that year. Yeah, LeBron already existed. Yeah, he already had his fans. This wasn't even a record contract because it's the NBA. It has a salary cap. But so many people bought Heat jerseys. So many people watched the Heat. And they weren't Heat fans. They didn't care. It was across the nation. And I think the same thing's going to happen with Ohtani. And it's going to grow. Just like the Heat fans grew. Just like basketball grew because it was announced in such a crazy way. So much attention is being brought to it. This much attention was not brought to Ohtani up until 2 days ago.
Yeah. So you're kind of making the argument that like the casual fans or the best fans that maybe don't tune into every game, that is going to be the big source of growth here.
Or people that don't even watch the game.
Right. Yeah. Like,
what's this Ohtani guy? There were people tracking a flight. What's up about this? What's this $700 million? That's more than football.
Right.
What's this about? Got to check in and watch this guy. I guarantee you, check your Instagram stories 2 weeks from now, someone will have bought an Ohtani jersey. You will see at least one Ohtani Dodgers jersey in your Instagram stories a few weeks from now.
I don't know if I'll know anyone that would buy an Ohtani Dodger jersey.
Okay, maybe I do. But
sounds like it's good for the Dodgers.
I follow 400 people on Instagram.
Right. I know.
People from college, people like I'm not going to call them out by name.
Yeah.
What do you mean who?
I don't know. I'm trying to think of like the
it's like the same type of people that buy a Jokic or an AI throwback jersey from the 76ers or a Carmelo or a Jokic jersey from that throwback Nuggets jersey with the rainbow on it. It's the same sort of people.
So like his jersey is going to be like the status symbol.
Yeah.
So he's going to be like LeBron Heat.
Yeah.
So
yes. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. From a jersey standpoint too, not just him physically in the Heat.
Which is bringing more money to the Dodgers, so it's good for them. Either way, we should get a move on here.
I mean, but the last thing,
a little closing argument.
I mean, his salary is going to be $70 million. There is a chance that from a baseball perspective, that's too much money.
Yeah.
Right now, he will not pitch a single game for the 2024 MLB season. Mm-hmm. And after a reconstructed elbow, I mean, Josh, you're the expert in the room. I mean, there's no guarantee that he will be playing at the same level he was prior to that injury or prior to that rehabilitation. So, I mean, yes, I think, the money, like the Dodgers will probably recoup it even if he never throws a pitch again, just off of merch sales alone. But from a baseball standpoint, he's getting that money partially because he is a two-way player, but there's a chance that he never actually becomes a two-way player again.
Yeah. I'll close it out by saying this. This contract is absolutely incredible for the Dodgers. The way it's structured, it is extremely favorable for them. It's actually very unfavorable for Ohtani, just based on how money grows. And we could get into the economics of that, but we're not going to. But he's effectively taking less money over the next 10 years to hopefully be more competitive and allow the Dodgers to sign more players. So I think it's an incredible move for the Dodgers. It's a very friendly contract, even though it's $700 million, which is crazy to say. And I think it will help them grow the team. The owners will be definitely pocketing some extra cash on jersey sales and ticket sales over the next 10 years. But yeah, I don't know. It was always going to be the Dodgers to me. We could go through and look back at the last 20 World Series winners, and it's hard to pick out small market teams out of those 20 winners, but hopefully some other teams can be competitive still. But they do have arguably the three best hitters in baseball in their lineup, which is crazy.
Ooh, you want another hot take? You want it already?
Yeah. Yeah.
Dodgers
Do
are
it.
not winning the World Series this next year.
Bang, same. I like it.
Yep.
They're
not gonna win.
not because the New York Yankees are.
Ooh.
Yankees Dodgers World Series, baby. Everything's right with the world. We're back.
The thing is, though, the ratings on that would be crazy. Like,
That's
I would
true.
watch that. I would watch that.
That is true. Well,
But,
Jacob,
hey,
you have any?
and No Cubs, and he didn't go to the Cubs. But Jacob
That's a
had a
win.
point last week. I could have gone to see Ohtani like anytime I wanted, so I'm kind of bummed about that. I'll have to get on a flight to LA. But
wait for him to
Jacob
come
round
here.
us out. That's true.
Exactly. Colin Ray will pitch 5 2/3 inning with 8 strikeouts. Ohtani will go 0 for 4, 3 strikeouts because Colin Ray's going to shut him down.
Okay, let me double closing argument.
Oh,
Will you go to a Dodgers game this year? Andrew in Chicago, Nash in Milwaukee.
if the timing is right and the tickets aren't $1,000 a piece, would I go to a Dodgers game over going to a different game?
Yes.
Assuming like that.
Assuming that's it. Or even if tickets are $10 more.
Yes.
Yeah, I would pay to go see Ohtani.
I would pay
None of
more
us have
to
ever
see
seen
Ohtani, but I wouldn't
live.
pay like insane amount more, if that makes sense.
Right. I mean, I'm glad I paid to see Messi.
It is, it is that kind of same effect for sure.
And like he could strike out 4 times. Messi didn't do anything. He scored an offside goal. That was pretty cool. So anyways, let's I think we've beat Ohtani like a dead horse.
That's a crazy statement.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Well, we haven't enough because our oh wait. Before we do that, Jacob, you have something.
yes. The
Sorry, I was
YouTube
gonna
shorts
jump right into the quiz, but
have been popping off. So
Woo!
as we discussed last week, we're gonna do a live reveal or a live watch of a short as we release it. So I just made it public, like
Let's
legit
go.
2 minutes ago, and we get to watch it. And it's totally relevant because it's 3 NBA podcasters. It's 3 people who play in the NBA that you did not know that had podcasts.
Oh, I like that.
So let's get
That's
it.
fun. Videos, shorts.
If it works.
I can pull it up.
If you share your
if you want me
screen. Oh yeah.
Wait,
I was
Draymond
waiting.
Green as a podcast?
Hey, spoilers.
Does he just punch the mic?
Spoilers.
Okay, here we
My
go.
God.
I mean, it's with his voice.
Can everyone see this?
Did you share
Yes,
Oh, shit.
with sound.
with sound?
Come on, don't be a boomer.
What is this?
Be a zoomer, not a boomer.
2022?
I always
Yep.
forget.
There we go.
I
All
already
right.
liked
3, nice. I
Here we
liked
go.
it with our account too.
it.
And his podcast name is Podcast P with Paul George. Being
Wait,
the
go
big
back
name
to the
that he
beginning?
is,
Go
he's
back to
able
the
to bring
beginning?
in likes of other.
Can I?
Yeah. Drag
Is
the
that
little red
Dwayne Wade
line.
on the cover? No, that's not Dwayne Wade.
No, it's not.
I don't.
Big names
Just
to
refresh
interview,
it then,
such
just
as
refresh
DeMar
it.
DeRozan
Just
and
refresh
rookie
it.
Brandon.
That's weird. You can't
So
scroll.
first on this
shorts.
list is Paul George, and his podcast name is Podcast P with Paul George. Being the big name that he is, he's able to bring in likes of other big names to interview, such as DeMar DeRozan and rookie Brandon Miller. Next on this list is Draymond Green, and although Draymond isn't much to sit down and interview players, he does get to speak freely on, well, pretty much anything because it's Draymond Green. Last on this list is former NBA champ Jeff
Hell
Teague.
yeah.
His podcast name is the Club 520 Podcast. What's cool about Teague's podcast is that he wasn't the most prominent NBA player, meaning that he's grown his following a little bit more naturally. He likes to sit down, hang out, and chill with friends and talk about pretty much anything casual NBA. So first on this list is Paul George, and his
There we
Dude,
go.
Jeff Teague is
Wow.
awesome.
Bucks legend. And he doesn't man, we had 420 on the dot earlier.
Hey, dude, shout out to all the subs, man. If you
But
want
we'll
to
take it.
subscribe, yeah, you should subscribe. Here's the
Look at all those
YouTube channel.
Ohtani videos down there.
Click the button. Click the button.
Yeah. Wait, publish them all. Publish them all.
No,
Oh,
they
the
are.
line.
They are.
This is all published.
Oh,
Dude, that's
there we go.
Yeah.
This
so,
one was one of my favorites.
wasn't that great?
That was funny.
4,000 people tracked his flight. It wasn't his flight.
Oh, that's so good. It was Mark from, or what's his
Jake
name?
from State Farm.
Is it Mark?
Robert Herjavec.
Robert. That's right.
Robert Herjavec from
Tank.
Shark Tank.
Shark Tank. That's so funny.
He's just doing everyone. He's getting everyone
Well-
confused.
We haven't quite beaten Ohtani enough because we are doing a true or false Shohei Ohtani quiz to wrap
Let's
things
go.
up. We got 20 true or false questions about the man, the $700 million man, and we're jumping right in. Let's go.
Do we find
Let's
out
get it.
instantly?
Oh,
If we get them right, no, it's yes.
I
They're not true, false. But maybe they are.
I don't think that's true.
I don't
Is it?
think. No.
You can close that ad out. Is fluent in Russian?
No way.
There's
No
no
way.
way.
There's no way. Okay. I was about to make a TikTok on that.
First player
Yeah,
to be
there you go.
selected to an All-Star game as a pitcher and a DH. That's false because wait,
No, I think it's true.
Babe Ruth? Did they play All-Star
Wasn't a
games
DH.
back far back? Is the brand ambassador for Porsche Japan?
This is
That's a
a
good
that's
one.
a fit. That's literally this is a toss-up.
I'm gonna say yes.
Yeah,
I
go for
think
yeah.
It kind of seems like it.
Hey, yes. I own the
is true.
MLB The Show 22 and he's on the cover.
Cy Young.
No, last year?
No, because Cole won. Didn't
no.
Cole win it?
Could Cole win?
I think
last
Cole
year,
won back
too?
to back. He was so good last year. I don't think he did. I think Cole won.
Because Otani won MVP, but he didn't
this year.
also win Cy Young. No, last year.
This is
Both?
2023.
All right, go false.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I
Yeah.
told you. Scare Cole.
Oh, easy one.
Showtime.
There we go. Showtime. His nickname is Showtime. That's true. Yes. Not
2021. I thought he beat Judge out last year. What am I?
No, Judge, what are you talking about?
Gosh.
Judge won the MVP.
That's right. It should have been Otani. That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
There you go.
Not what you think what actually happened.
No,
False.
this is there you go. You're getting your questions. confused.
Here's my guy.
Has appeared in commercials for
Pocari
Japanese sports drink
Sweat?
Pocari Sweat.
If this is not right, then I want to know, is the brand made up? Is he
It has to be true.
it's gotta be true. Yeah.
There's no
No.
way. Okay,
How
hold
did
on.
they
I'm
even
looking
make
up
that up?
Pocari Sweat. Yeah. Pocari Sweat.
It's real.
It's real.
Oh, it's water.
It's just water. It's an energy drink.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know, dude. Pocari Sweat.
Wait, I should see if I can get some in Chicago.
Yeah, you should.
Wait, focus. We got 3 minutes here.
No, absolutely not. Babe Ruth has to be that player. There's no way.
This
Babe Ruth
poll
didn't
is
have a
wrong.
100 strikeout season, but he had
Never
a
did.
20
wrong.
win season. That's crazy. That has to be. That's probably true.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah,
There we go. Began his
That-
MLB career.
that's true.
That's true.
Yep. I mean, like,
I should know this.
Hanamaki Higashi High School.
It's probably true. You think they just made
Yeah.
up a?
That'd be
high school?
impressive
I
to
mean-
come up with that name. I mean, it
Yeah.
could just be a
I
different
just
high
watched
school.
a documentary about. Okay.
Okay.
This is false. I know this for a fact. It was the Nippon Ham Fighters.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go.
Andujar? Really? I don't
That might be true.
Andujar? In 2018, that doesn't sound right.
I thought he won the Rookie of the Year. Shohei won the Rookie of the Year.
Yeah. Go
That would be
false.
false.
Yeah.
No.
The big unit. It's Randy Johnson.
Yeah.
But honestly, he could be.
That's gotta be false.
Ooh.
Ichiro
Yeah,
should
you
hit for
think,
the
like-
cycle
Yeah.
once.
Ichiro's got to
Yeah.
hit the cycle.
Wow.
Really? All right, Jacob. For the Nippon, what was their name?
Pacific League
Ham.
MVP. That's true.
Ham suckers. True.
Yeah. Ham fighters.
Ham fighters.
Sure.
The Hammers.
Yeah.
That's got to be true, right?
Yeah. He's got to have it.
Yeah.
Wait,
What?
What?
He's not at a 10 war. Hey, we beat the average. Hey, we're good.
10
Beat
more.
the-
Was it
10
wrong
more
bec-
is crazy.
Is it wrong because
we'll look them up.
10 war is not, there's not a few number of people, or because he doesn't have that?
Shohei Ohtani's highest war season. Well, his career wars. 10 war.
10 on the dot.
Lies.
This poll is wrong.
Oh, you know what? It was probably from 2022.
Ah, that's why the questions are 2022. Ah.
But you
Hey,
should rate
you know
it
what?
or leave a comment saying update.
Yep,
updated
last
quiz.
updated December
Yeah.
5th, 2022. Hey,
Wait, leave a comment. Say
No,
this is the batting
yeah.
practice podcast.
Oh gosh. I can't without
just nah. Just
Do it in your off time.
in your
Do
free
it- well-
time.
While Jacob and I edit it, well, you should leave a rating. Let
Mm.
people know. Do some good in the world, Josh.
I will.
Mm.
Update, please.
Yeah,
Update,
it's
please.
important.
All right. Well, as always, thank you for listening. Don't forget to check out the social medias, the YouTube. The shorts are popping off. You just got to see a preview. So go like that, comment, tell us what you think. Say you came from the podcast. We'd love to hear that. Tell us what you think about the Ohtani contract. Is it good? Is it bad? We'll see. Tweet us. Do whatever you want. But as always, you just attended batting practice. Now you're ready to get in the game. Peace.
I should go lefty for Shohei.
Hit it.